Hello students, today basically we're going to make the board for our powered or for our trail board. Uh, it's basically a piece of birch, a couple pieces that are bent. This is the standard design that you have to turn in. The best design gets 10 bonus points and wall art, which will have the design and their name on it, hopefully, if I can fit it into my schedule. We'll cut it on a laser cutter. So put some time and do your best on it. It is made out of 7/16 of an inch birch. It's got general instructions right here. I try to update them. It is a little tricky, probably make some mistakes along the way, but we will get through it. For first thing it says is 7/16 birch changing the sheet metal rule. Okay, and then draw the board, cut the corners, mirror it, and fold along 15 degrees. Be sure the base remains flat. Use flip button as needed. Okay, that's enough. Let's just go and start drawing it. Okay, so we can't just use regular part. We got to go to new, and you got to pick sheet metal part. IPT means part, right? Create. Let's go ahead and save this right now before we go any farther. Make sure you save it to a good spot on your desktop if you don't have a drive. I'm just going to call this the board, because that's what it is. Caps. Save. Okay, now we're going to just use, first thing when you do it, you need to set sheet metal up. So sheet metal defaults, that's just basically the metal you're using or the material. It's mainly metals, but you can also use it when you're bending wood like we are today. So we're going to just change the default. Instead of picking a new name, we're just going to change the default. So instead of generic material, we're using Russian birch, which is real fine, thin, close together grains, because the trees grow slow and every year the grains stay close together. It lets it bend better, makes it super strong. Our thickness is 7/16, not 0.120, which is the default 7/16. Okay, and we're going to leave everything else alone. Okay, you can set how many big gaps when the sheet metal rips and things like that for the corners and bends here. Okay, so pretty powerful. We'll get into sheet metal a lot more later. This is just a very beginning part of the save and close. So it changed the default now to wood and 7/16 instead of an eighth piece of sheet metal like it was. Close that out. Now we go to 2D sketches like we normally would, XY plane. Now on this one, just from experience, we can't trim out these parts of the rectangle. If we put an arc in there, it'll lose its constraints with my favorite 2-point center. So you just use a 2-point regular old rectangle. Okay, start at the origin. It's 34 across, tab 9.5 wide. Double click middle mouse button. There it is. Now we're going to put our 3-point arc in there. And Inventor the arcs first, second, and then middle point. So I want to make sure I'm on that line. Then make sure I'm on this line. And then it's looking for a radius there, right? So I'm going to give it the radius, which is, it says it's 16 right there, right? So 16, enter. Okay, now I just got to throw a couple dimensions on there. From here, make sure you grab that point to this face, not the point, is 6. Okay, and from here to this face is 2. Okay, now hopefully we can trim this out and not lose all of our constraints. Now it looks like it'll probably, if we did this right, okay, notice our 34 went to a point, even though Inventor just kind of broke its own rule. So what you want to do there is just see if we can delete that, and then go ahead and put a new dimension face to face on it. Face to faces. Hopefully that'll still work. This is 34, and we're back to fully constrained. You can probably barely see that, but it's fully constrained. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to mirror this cut, and all we need to put the holes in here too. So let's get a center line in here. So we're going to pick line, okay, and pick. I'm not going to use the center line because sometimes it breaks it when you're using when you're trying to cut it. So now I'm going over to this one because that middle's wrong on the other one. I'm grabbing the middle green point, and this one I'm just going to burn perpendicular right into it. Okay, and I'm doing the bottom one, not the top one, because remember, notice the top one's shorter now, so I don't have the right midpoint on it anymore. I could have done this before I cut it probably too. There we go. Okay, now I've got my two middle lines to mirror across. So I need to put my circles in here first. So I pick circle, turn the construction line off, and just draw your circles anywhere. You can line them up in a minute. There are 7/32 diameter. Okay. And this one, 7/32 diameter. And throw your dimensions on there. From here, this edge is 3/4, right? Yep, 0.75. And apart they are 2.5. Make sure I'm actually getting on the middle of this thing, which I should be, but sometimes if you go too fast you won't. 2.5. And the height from here to the middle, the center line, is 1/2 of 2. Oh, about messed that up. It's 1.5. It's 3/4. 0.75. If I make a mistake, don't follow my lead on mistakes, right? Notice this one's still purple, so we need to make it horizontally constrained with the first one. And that should take care of it, I think. Yep. Alright, so everything's locked down. Now we can mirror this stuff around. So we pick mirror, and it wants you to pick the objects first, so I'm just going to window them like this. Hold down with my left mouse button. I got all 3 of them. Hit now I got to pick the mirror line, and I'll pick that for my mirror line. And I'm going to hit apply, and done. And it did not show up. What happened there? Let's try again. Let's go to undo first of all. Get back to where we were. Try again. Mirror. I'm just going to manually pick them now. That one. That one. That one. Mirror line. That one. Apply. I don't know. I must have missed something last time. Done. Okay. Mirror again. Window them all like I did last time. Mirror line. Maybe I went too fast. It doesn't register until apply. Done. Okay, good. And now I do need to trim all these out. Hopefully they won't lose their constraints. If they do, we'll have to pull a trick out of the bag here. It did. That's what I was worried about. See, if I don't trim these, there's no way it's going to cut right or not going to face right. So we're just going to, we've got all that done. We know it's the right size. It's doing this 9.5 from there to there, so I do need to fix that because that is definitely not. Dimension. Well, I probably should delete that first. Delete that one. Dimension here to here is 9.5. Okay, good. Okay, that did hold at 9.5, so that's all good. So everything is in the right place. So what we're going to do is lock this down so it's fully locked down. So I'm going to basically window all these objects like that, okay? And then I'm going to go over here and lock this down so it quits moving on me. Okay, locking down didn't work. So we need to make this fully constrained. It says 3 dimensions are needed after I trimmed all this. So let's see what's needed. We're going to go to escape a few times. Right click. Show all degrees of freedom. Yeah, first time there's a whole bunch of them. Okay, so it's basically saying everything can move around. Well, it lost its origin here, I think, is the biggest part from there to there. So I'm going to hide all those degrees of freedom and see what I can do here. So hide all degrees of freedom. Where's that at? Right there. Okay. So it's telling me all these things can move. So I know this isn't locked down to 0 by seeing that. So I'm going to go to vertical, pick my origin, pick my vertical point here. Okay. Now it says 2 dimensions are needed. So let's try to do the horizontal one. Same thing. Right here to this one. Okay, that fully locked. Oh, we got one left. Let's right click and do show all degrees of freedom again. Okay, this point right there. What is that point? I don't even know what point that is. Hide all degrees of freedom. There's a point in there doing something. just going to delete it. Well, let me delete it. It's not hurting anything. The whole item is black now, so we're good. So the main thing it lost was it lost this corner when we trimmed this out. Okay, so we had to basically horizontally there to there and vertically here to this point to this point, and that fixed the main problem of losing its trimming. And sometimes that's easy to do, sometimes a mess. It does say one left, but it's not affecting anything. It's all, the whole system is black, so we're going to move forward. Finish sketch. Okay, and the other way we could have done this is to faced it like we're going to do now. Face it makes an extrusion basically, and then come back and cut all that stuff out. But I wanted to do it from inside one sketch. So I'm going to go to face now and pick on that, and it looks like it does usually no holes or cutouts. So it did again. So it's automatically now making it 7/16 and making it into that board. So hit OK. That's a face to do. So it gives it a material and a thickness. Okay. Got that done, got all our cutouts done. Now we're getting ready to basically do the fold along the construction lines 15 degrees. Okay, so we're doing that now. So this is the 15 degrees right here. So we're doing these first. These are the easy ones. These are the hard ones. Okay, so 15 degrees along that edge. That one's pretty easy. So right click on here, new sketch. Okay, and then just draw a construction line again, like I said. And that is so we can fold along that construction line. And you pick right, make sure you get the point, and make sure it's green. Takes a while when you're doing VMware. So I'm doing the video on that. So, and it's from the middle of the woods, away from every town, slow internet, but it actually does work pretty darn nice. I'm very surprised how it's working. Have you got that? Okay, now I think we can fold that 15 degrees up. Now one thing we want to make sure when you fold is it doesn't move wrong on your finish sketch. And which one's fold? That's flange. We don't want that. It's one of these. Fold. Yours might say it if it's not shrunk down. Okay, so it's on bend line right now selected. So pick the bend line right there. Okay. Now watch the board when I say apply. It might have to flip the controls. Okay, apply, and see what happened. It went straight up. So cancel, undo. Okay, so let's try again. Fold. Okay, pick my bend line, flip my controls, and now it's bending that up, which is good. That's what we want. The angle's not 90 degrees either. It's 15. Okay, and I think that's all we got to change. Let's hit apply. And that's good. We want the base of the board to stay the same or the flat pattern won't work right. It'll be messed up. So we always want this base to stay flat, the middle part. Okay. Otherwise it gets really crazy. Now we do the same thing over here. It probably used up that sketch since I did both lines. So I'm expanding it, right click by hitting plus and then right clicking, and I'm going to share that sketch. Now I got access to that line. Okay, but then we're going to do fold again. I can always hide that sketch later if it gets annoying. Fold. Pick that line. That looks like it's the right direction. Kind of hard to tell from that picture. Let's find out. Oh, VMware just died. Hopefully it comes back here. Yay, VMware came back. Had to log back on, but it went really fast. Alright, so we're just going to hit apply and see what happens here. Yep, it was good that time. It remembered everything else. So those are bent. That was pretty easy. Now we need to do these. You can mirror the fold. That is a feature. I usually don't have a lot of luck mirroring a fold, so I just do it. Okay, and we're going to do this one too. So this has got a cut 2.5 inches long, 16 wide, and again this is fake. It's only in there because Inventor's not going to let you stretch this material. See how it's in the middle there? It's actually stretched out. There won't let you do that unless you do a punch, which is pretty complicated. We'll get into that later in sheet metal. So we're going to basically draw a cut or cut it out for it so it allows it to do it. In reality, you would put a whole lot of pressure on this wood and you'd actually stretch the grains. Metal, probably the same thing. Okay, so another flat pattern, new sketch, or another sketch on here in the middle. And probably a 3-point rectangle would be our best bet. So let's see here. 3-point center. 2-point center. Yeah, let's do a 3-point. I don't know. I don't really like that either, but yeah, that'll work. 3-point center. So I'm going to pick which one does it do first. You know, I always got to hang over there and figure out. So we do 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, that'll work fine. So I'm going to pick way over here, and I can give it the height. I'm not giving it the width. I'm doing that on purpose. I guess I could have gave it the width probably too. It would have still worked. And it's 2.5, 2.5. Okay. And now I'm going to use my coincident constraint. Okay. I'm going to tell the middle of this. Find it. Is in the same spot as the middle of this one. There it is. Boy, I got too close. It's hard to do that. And see what it did? It locked this down to the center. I should have drawn it probably over here out the way, all the way, so I could do that better. Now the only thing it's missing is the width. Okay, so that's coincident. Coincident means just 2 points are touching. Okay, nothing fancy there. I use that a lot. There is, now this should be 1/16. Or 0.0625. Okay, so we've got that. We could mirror it and try to cut to them at once, and I'm sure it'd work fine. That's just easier to mirror feature later. So we're going to finish sketch. And a lot of times you want to mirror feature anyway. That way you can just change one of them later and they'll both change. And now extrude, where's that out? There's a couple things we can do here. We can go to cut, which is the right way to do it. Okay, and it'll actually cut it out. You could go back in 3D model and extrude cut it as well. That's really not what you're supposed to do though, so let's try the sheet metal one. So bit cut, and it's the same thing. It realizes that that's the only sketch, and it's going to cut it all the way through, so it cuts it the thickness. So it does a lot of things more automatic. So we hit OK, and now we're going to mirror that feature. So mirror, and I'm just going to pick it right there. Okay, in the browser, and the mirror plane, it's got to be one of these main planes that splits it. Oops, we don't have a plane in the middle. We're going to have to create one. We're going to need it in a little bit anyway. So, another chance to create a plane. Alright, so probably the easiest plane to create between two surfaces, so work features here. The ones I usually use is like 3 points, or a lot of times mid plane between 2 planes. That's the easiest one on this one. So mid plane that I can think of anyway. So I'm zooming in so I actually get it. There we go. I think you can probably pick through the part. I had it. But I could have flipped it 3 times by now. Alright, I'm flipping it. Alright, now I just created a plane in the middle. And again, you can always right click and hide all those later when they get annoying. Let's go to home here and get back to where we were. Okay, now we got a nice plane to mirror across. Okay, and like I said, we can right click on this and turn visibility off. Same thing with the sketch that we shared. Get rid of that later. I'll leave it on now in case we need it later. Mirror. Okay. And like again, I could mirror these folds. We can try them later, but too many at one time will definitely be a problem. So I'm going to do one at a little bit at a time here. Fold, mirror plane, mirror. Okay. All right, so that's done. Now we need to draw a construction line across here, and we'll fold that up at, I think it's 14 degrees. Somewhere there it is, 14 degrees right here. Okay. Make sure I didn't miss anything in the instructions here. 16 cut, 14 degrees, repeat, create flat pattern, put it in print and follow instructions. Well, don't put it into print until you get your sketch in there. Okay, so we've got that done. Let's put our diagonal construction line on that face. New sketch, line, construction line. Go from that corner. Zoom in, make sure you get it, not the midpoint. I still didn't get it. There, I got it. And then make sure you get the right point on this thing too, because there's a lot of points, and it's really not critical. But I think if you get off the flat, it'll probably fail on you. So make sure you're down there on the flat, okay? Because it's starting to bend at that point. Alright, we're just going to do one of them, see what happens. This is where we sometimes have trouble. I tried to narrow this up before to 1/1000th of an inch, and that caused failures too, so that's why it's back to a 1/16. Right, I think we're doing a bend or fold here. Fold. Okay. Bend is where you join two pieces. It's a little bit trickier. So finish sketch. Back to fold. Flange is really neat too. It actually bends something up, which we'll learn about that later. Okay, bend line wants that. Okay, and it's 14, not 15. And it looks like it's moving the wrong one to me. I don't know, it's hard to tell. Be careful what I'm moving around here. It'll knock me back out of VMware. Okay, so we're going to apply and probably have to undo. Yep, see it moved the board. Okay, we get undo. And of course, I can't reach undo on here. Alright, so I'm undoing that, bring it back to where it was, and then we go to fold, and I should want my instinct, and pick that line, and just flip controls the other way, and apply. Oh, I did it anyway. Oh. Okay, and flip the other one that time. Why is it going all the way to there? Okay, it always gets tricky doing this one. So flipping controls didn't do anything. So I have to fold location. Let me pick it. Pick the line first, and so this is doing in the center of it. This is, which is basically, the problem with that is it's going to go across there like you see, which is a problem. It's trying to bend the whole thing. So start a bend line. I'm gonna go towards the top end of bend line. Okay, now it actually shortens it up like it's supposed to be. All right, now if I hit apply, I think it'll work. And it still was, had to flip controls too. So stuff that you learn here, but it's pretty good. There's a lot. It's tricky. So fold line, start of or end of, what is that? End of board. Flip side. Apply. I should have had flip controls. This really isn't going the best, huh? Bend line. Flip direction. Okay, so this is a big failure so far, so let's fix it. So go into sketch 4, we created there, double clicking on it. And I think the main problem is this is right on the edge of it. So pick on this line, and I'm just going to delete it instead of trying to delete the constraints and all that. Draw another construction line, just put it up there somewhere. We'll dimension it in a little bit. And put it up here. Make sure you're on this very edge right here. The problem is we're right on that darn edge of that line, and it does not like it. It's trying to bend the whole board. It can't figure out how to bend it right there. A lot of work for a fake item here. Dimension, make it from this face here to this point, maybe a 16th. That should be God's plenty. Okay, 1/16. There we go. Finish sketch. Now we shouldn't have all those problems. Fold, line, that one, flip side. Okay, let's try that one, flip side. Apply, hallelujah. Oh, I shouldn't have flipped side, I guess, went the wrong way. So, cancel, undo. Okay, fold, bend line, start bend. Okay, the faster you go, the longer it takes. One last try, right? Hit fold, pick our bend line. I think I'm going to flip side here. That one. See, you can see the arrow switch if you look really close. That one's going down. That one's going up. It's really hard to see, but It is going up and down now, so that's making it go up is what we're looking for, and it's not going across the whole board. So we hit apply, and yay, it finally worked. It went up. Okay. Now hopefully we can mirror this thing. Let's do we have another plane in the middle of this? We don't. We can create one between these two faces though pretty easily. So plane, mid plane between two faces, and we're going to pick on that cut. We're going to pick that one. I'm trying to get it without flipping it, but it's again not going to let me, so I'm spinning it. Pick that face right there. Now I should have a nice middle plane. Okay, I could have done 3 points on that thing too, by picking like this point. Well, it'd been tougher. So let's just do this one like we did there. Pick the home. Okay, now hopefully we can mirror these. I don't know. We might just have to draw the line and do it 4 times. We'll find out if we do. I'll just not record that and just repeat those steps. So let's try to mirror them. Mirror. Okay, so this will be the fold. Okay, and the mirror plane will be this one. Probably break it big time. What options we got here? Hit OK. It actually worked. Hard to believe. Let's see if we can get the ones on the bottom. So mirror. And I'm expanding that mirror. I'm trying to pick the mirror here. That's the wrong one, no wonder. There, it did pick them both. It looked like it wasn't highlighting both of them, but it did finally. Mirror plane, make sure you pick the plane to mirror across correct. It looks like it's going to work. Hit OK. Good. I didn't know if that'd work or not. Now, after all that, hopefully our flat pattern works. That's the next thing. It could be a major failure. I think we're at that point too, so it's a good place to save. And just pray that flat pattern actually works. So create flat pattern. And let's see, it looks correct. Spin it. Wow, it actually worked. Hard to believe. Okay, great. See how it's supposed to be flat, and it is, so that's good. Go to folded part. Okay, repeatedly kicked me out of VMware doing this, but it always seems to come back just fine, so that's the main thing. Alright, so I'm going to go to folded part. Okay, I went back to folded part. I couldn't do it with the video on, or it kept killing it. So, alright, so we've got that. Now the folded part, it does exist, okay? There's a flat pattern over here somewhere. There it is, grayed out, right? So save it. Once you get all that to work, you've got the worst part of it done. So this is pretty tricky, as you can see, but it's kind of neat. Alright, what we did here, I mean, we did some pretty wild bends. Alright, and now the easy part, the artistic part. So create a plane 3 inches above the board, size and crop images from the web, import them into a sketch on the new plane. So to crop them, you might have to do that like in Paint or something, and use a decal tool to put them on the board. Okay, I'm just going to do one. You have to make yours look nice like that, like the example. I'm just going to show you how to do a real simple one. You also have to put your name on the board too. So name's pretty easy. So let's make a plane first of all. So right click. Oh, I was hoping it'd be, let's put a plane there, but it's not. So we're going to do offset from plane. I already had that one picked, so it grabbed it, but you might have to pick that plane. 3. I've got a nice plane 3 inches off there. You can, I think we're done with all these mirrored planes. You can hide all them if you want to. So like this plane here, that's one I just created. But if you want to like right click on these and turn visibility off, you don't have to stare at them. Makes things a little bit easier. You can turn the sketches off too that are visible, like all those lines there. Visibility off. Any sketch that you share is going to be visible. Okay, so we've got that plane on there. So I need an image. So I'm going to go to the web, and I'm already on the web here. Plus, and I don't know, I did Batman last time. Let's do Superman. Emblem or Superman. Is it an emblem? What would you call that thing? Superman logo. Maybe that's it. And images. Make sure you find a PNG or JPEG or something like that. Hopefully not a copyrighted one, right? I like the black and white ones a lot of times better. This one's pretty cool. Let's try that one. Save image as. It is a JPEG. That's pretty cool. So let's put it in. You want to save it somewhere that the same place you're saving everything else, or then might not be able to find it later when you need it. So there we go. Hopefully it'll work. It says it saved it. Okay, now we want to create a sketch and bring that in. So on this plane, pick it, right click, new sketch, and then we'll emboss that to it. I think that's what it's telling me to do, isn't it? Decal tool to put it on the board. So we're going to decal it to it, not emboss it. Okay. A lot of different options here. Alright, so now we have, that's a new one. Import points, okay. That's like from a scanner or laser, or basically, yeah, a scanner, so you bring in, that's kind of neat. Alright, insert image. Okay, it came in as a JFIF, so I'm going to try to right click on this and rename it to a JPEG. I think that will work. We'll see here. Rename. Okay, I had to go into Explorer and go into View and Show File Name Extensions. What a pain. Hopefully this works. So try to get a JPEG, not a JFIF, and then I'm going to rename it and call it a PEG. I think it's 4 letters. Hope so there. Yep, I want to change it. Let's see if it'll open. Yep, still open. So renamed it to a JPEG, not a JFIF. And let's see if I can bring it in there now. And it might have brought it in if I had picked all files, but it's looking for, of course, JPEG. Oh my goodness. Try again. Of course, it wanted a 3-letter JPEG, so I had to switch it to a 3-letter JPEG. Open. And I'll put it on the board, and I can't remember. Does it go across the bend? I think it does. Yeah. Well, yeah, it did go all the way across there, so we're going to try it. You can rotate it after the fact, so since it looks like it's longer, I'm going to put it over here on this corner. And you can put it on the other part too if you want to. It's easier for me here. Got one of them. Now I'm going to grab this corner. Well, I didn't lock it down. So let's constrain. We can always delete the constraint or undo it if we need to. That point to there, fine. Now I think I can spin it easier. See, like that. So I used the same tool I did a while ago to constrain that to it. I don't want to take too much time on this, but I'm trying to be precise. Probably should have zoomed in. So I used coincident, okay. Now, is it locked down? It is locked down. So, of course, I'm going to right click on here, show all constraints, pick that thing and delete it. And now I can move it around a little bit. You can also use the rotate tool. Okay, right there. Maybe I'll put two of them over here and just copy it a little bit. I don't know why that line's drawing on there. It projected that line and now it's there. I'm going to delete it off there. Okay, I can't really see behind there too well, so hopefully I've got it lined up. Take your time and make sure it's right. Let's center this up here. It's pretty close. Couple other things it says you can do in properties. You can get rid of the background. Use decal to put on a board, size crop image, import new sketch. You can right click on the image, go to properties and get rid of the background image. Okay, so I'm going to finish sketch, see if I can get rid of that background. It's a little tricky. It's about locking it up, see. It's a good place to save. So that image is down here in that sketch. Should be. There's the sketch. Expand it. There's the image. Right click. I picked it. Right click. So it's adaptive. Why can't I get properties? Maybe I have to do it in the sketch. I'm opening the sketch. I'm picking on it. Right clicking. There's properties. Yeah, I use mask, so we got rid of some of it. Sometimes it'll get rid of all that gray, which is nice. Mine, it didn't work so well. Set chroma key. Whew. That didn't work. Let's go to undo and straighten that out a little bit. So you can try that and see if you can clean up your image a little bit. There we go. Finish sketch. And I'm going to mirror it to the other side when I get it done here. And then I go to 3D model and it said decal. So where's decal at? Not there. There's decal. Decal tool. Okay, it doesn't say wrap to face, so I'm not going to worry about it. So image. Got it. Face. I think pick like that face. And hit OK, see what happens. And it automatically chained them anyway without picking anything else. So that looks pretty good. It looks like it wrapped it nice. I'm going to mirror it to the other side if I don't lock up my computer. Now you do that and try to make it even nicer, alright? My computer is having fun with this image. The image is really slowing it down. So we've got that nice mirror plane in there, which I hit a little bit ago. Not that one. That's why sometimes it's good not to hide them right away. I'm right clicking on it and making it visible. And I'm going to mirror that across. So it wants to know the feature. So the feature is the decal. It's really locking it up. This image must be a big image. Not letting me do that. So you'd have to bring in another image to get it. You'd have to basically put a second one in there to get a second one. Evidently, it's not letting me bring it in there. That really stinks. Yeah, it's not solid, so it's not going to let me do it. What you could do is probably do it inside the sketch. All right, you could inside the sketch mirror it. Where is the sketch on here? Let's try it just real quick here. Okay, so if I mirror that mirror line, didn't have any luck. You can play with that and see if you get it work, or just bring another image in. Either way. All right, so that's done. So now you bring it into your drawing and make it look a lot nicer than that. To bring it in drawing is no big deal. That's the easy part. I'll have to show you real quick here. New drawing. Of course, open your template if you got it done and just bring it into your template. I'm just going to bring it into the standard one. And trying to keep time frame as short as possible on this video. Change size. D size, that's really big again. Maybe C. Not quite so big. What did I use in the example? Probably B is what I usually do. Maybe I didn't even say. 1/4 scale. So that looks like a B. Alright, we're going to try B. That's what I use most time. But okay. I'll bring it in. Since it's open, it should find it. Scale is 1/4. Okay. I can't move that across. It's showing up real nice right here, but you'll see in a minute it doesn't show up the best. So the top one is it's a flat pattern, right? You can move these around later if they're not exactly where you want them, so don't get too worried about them. And notice right here you can pick flat pattern. So hit OK. And now they all disappear. So what you got to do is pick the primary one. This is the primary. These are both child's. So I'm double clicking on that, turning it to solid, and I think it shows up. A little trick one of my students or me figured out one time. Hit OK. Typically you wouldn't do that for a drawing, but for this you kind of have to. And then now I'm going to do a base again, and I want the same view as I had before, except I want the flat pattern. Excuse me. 1/4. And I can move it around after I get done. Excuse me. Goodness. Is it okay? It's getting pretty crazy here. Delete that one off there. Yep. Grab this one, drag it where I want it. So move all these images around so they fit nice, and this one is directly above that one. I'm going to do it again. And this is one you dimension, which would typically be what you would in the shop. You dimension the flat pattern, not a bent part, because they start out with a flat pattern. That's how they build stuff like this, right? And then dimension it all out like it's shown in this one, and then turn it in for a grade and for a bonus, and make sure it's nice. Okay, make sure your name's on it, your school's on it somewhere. Okay, doesn't have to be big, just maybe somewhere on here. Put like your name and the IU or Lakeland or whatever. Okay, I think that's it. Make sure you fill it out correctly, put all the notes in it. If you have any questions, let me know.